Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'll start off with a little levity. Just as we're about to start, my phone rings, and it's the county attorney's office right at the beginning. I said, this better not be an emergency. This is our ribbon cutting. She goes, oh, no, I'm sorry. Just glad nothing else went wrong. First, I want to thank everyone for being here. Today is a very satisfying day for a number of reasons. You know, this project to start this fire station in Beulah has been a multi-decade effort. We have our former commissioner, Wilson Robertson, here, and he and I were speaking. I thought it was like a 10-year effort. For me, it's been 7.5 years. But in speaking with Wilson, they started conversations about replacing the other station 2 decades ago. So as you know, we all know government moves kind of slow, but that's embarrassingly slow. But I'll say this, sustained persistence leads to great things, and that's what we have here. We have a great facility. When I moved to Beulah 20 years ago, it was a bucolic, small town. We all know what's happened since then. A lot of great things. Navy Federal came in, brought a lot of great jobs. A lot of folks discovered this area, moved here like me and my family did back in 2004. And as things grow, we need more services. We need better roads, and we need great facilities like the brand new middle school that we have, and we built when I was on the school board, and now this facility. So people have asked me many times, how do you take being a commissioner? You get beat up all the time, people yelling at you, screaming at you, beating you up on social media, and I say, it's for days like this. Days like this make it work. Days like this, or days when you fix someone's legacy drainage issue, or when you're able to build that new road or that new sidewalk in a neighborhood. So this day is special for a number of reasons, and I just want to take a minute to thank a lot of people. There's a lot of people that require a lot of thanks. First, the citizens of Escambia County. This is your fire station. You paid for it. You paid for it with your 1 penny local option sales tax. Soon, we'll be asking you to renew it, and I certainly hope that we will find the support that we have typically found. Not just for the county, but I'm going to put a plug in for my friends at the Escambia County School District. Soon, they will be asking for a half-penny sales tax, and I can tell you, working on that school board for 10 years, without that half penny, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. So I appreciate the generosity of the taxpayers of Escambia County. You've built a lot of schools, and for the county, you've built a lot of roads, sidewalks, buildings, and now this beautiful, modern fire station. So I want to thank the taxpayers first and foremost. Then I want to thank the staff. You know, the staff, they get yanked around a lot. A new commissioner comes in, wants to do different things. Maybe another commissioner doesn't want to do it. Maybe staff knows there's a problem with it. So they have to moderate all these forces. And so the staff deserves a tremendous amount of credit. There were a lot of folks that didn't think this station should be located here. I was always of the opinion that the citizens knew where the fire station was. Why would you put it anywhere else? It made sense. Quick road right down the way to the freeway, you can get right down Beulah Road to get to Mobile Highway. You can get it pretty much anywhere you want, and this was a perfect location. So we were able to get the property. Is Vicki Campbell here? She said she might make it. Is she here? I don't see Vicki from the ECUA, but I wanted to give a shout out to ECUA. They assisted us with some of this property, and I want to thank the engineering department. I want to thank the facilities department, the roads department, and I want to thank my predecessor, Wilson Robertson. Without his leadership, this would never have got off the ground. I also want to thank every man and woman who volunteered to man that station out there for decades as a volunteer station serving this community. You know, folks that work a day job and spend their time as a volunteer serving their community, I have a special place in my heart for those people. So all those folks for all those years, thank you for your service. And now as we transition this station into a modern station that's manned 24/7 with a career crew, it's a brand new day in Beulah. 24/7, 365, a manned crew will be in this station serving this community. Now, some folks have said this station's too big. I would simply say this. I've personally seen the growth of Beulah in the last 20 years. Many of you have lived here even longer and you've seen it. You know, the growth isn't going to stop. We have a great state. We have great tax structure here. We have an excellent governor. We have great weather and we have beautiful beaches. Where do you think people are going to go? They're coming here. So this station might be big, but it's just what we need, especially as we deal with the growth going forward. So I want to end this by saying the name. Bradshaw McNair. Many of you here, there are families here, great people here, great people here. I just want to tell the story from my perspective so that the folks that are here that may not know it will know it. There are a lot of great men in this community that serve as first responders, police officers, firefighters, EMTs. And there were a couple of men in particular that gave their lives. One of them literally, and one of them figuratively. And I'll start with Steve McNair. He's sitting right here, and I look forward to hearing some comments from him. He worked as a volunteer firefighter, going all the way up to volunteer chief of this station for 5 decades, more than 5 decades. He helped with his own hands build that station over there. He dedicated his life to this community as a volunteer. That means something. That's a big deal. I respect people that do that. More importantly, the board respects people that do that. And that's why this station will carry your name forever. I'm very proud of that. I believe you should be and your family should be. But when you think of first responders and you think of men and women who will put their lives on the line for you, whether it's a burning building other people are running away from, and you've got first responders and you've got firefighters running toward it, or if you've got sheriff's deputies, shots are fired, other people are running away, they're running toward it. When you think of a first responder, and then you look at the ultimate sacrifice that some of them make, that has to be honored. That has to be respected. In November of 2019, one of the saddest days in this fire department's history, in this county's history, we lost a firefighter that day. He was running a call. He was doing his job. He was trying to help people. And there was an accident, and he gave his life. His name was Dwayne Bradshaw, and his family's right here. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud that they're here today, and I look forward to hearing some comments from them. Because the funeral that day that we all had the honor and privilege of attending, his funeral, was one of the saddest days in this community. It was sad and it was profound. But I will say, a part of it turned into one of the proudest moments that you would ever imagine. Proud of the service of Dwayne Bradshaw and honored by the outpouring of support. We had fire trucks. We had a procession of fire trucks that was over a mile long. We had fire trucks from all around the country. We had people didn't know Dwayne Bradshaw, but they respected his service. And they came out that day and they showed. And it was probably one of the proudest moments I've ever had as an elected official. So when someone makes the ultimate sacrifice, we hate it when that happens. That's terrible. But it sure is nice to know that this community loves that person and that sacrifice. But more importantly, it sure is nice to know that the country recognizes that. So I'm also very, very proud of the fact that the Board of County Commissioners added the name Dwayne Bradshaw to the station. So this station will be known as the Bradshaw McNair Fire Station in perpetuity, forever, as long as it stands. And I'm very proud of that today. So I look forward to hearing some comments from Chief McNair and the Bradshaw family. But first, I want to introduce the person, probably the most important person in making this thing happen. He's awfully humble, but no kidding. Wes Marino is a rock star. He gets it done. Day in, day out, he gets yanked at a bunch of different directions. He's got to manage the staff, and he gets it done. And he brought this thing in for a landing. For a while there, I didn't think it could. 7.5 years we've been working on this, but he brought it in for a landing. And now I'm going to call him up to give some remarks and to recognize all the staff that are here and all the employees that are here. Please join me in a round of applause for Wes Marino.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. I had a friend one time proclaimed as he drove past the new pastor's house, he said, "Welcome to Beulah." So here we are in Beulah. I like to consider Beulah God's country. I've been alive 58 years, and 56 of those 58 years I've been associated with the Beulah community in one shape, form, or fashion or the other. And so I'm happy to be here today. A lot of hard work to get here, as you've heard. It's good to see my old friend Wilson Robertson, a great commissioner, knew how to drive the work. And Jeff, I think you might have learned from him. You know how to drive the work. I looked at the agenda, who's going to speak when, and I was relieved because I'm not behind Chip. You never want to speak behind Chip Simmons, but I would also like to say congratulations to Chip. 4 more years, you've built a great administration. You got Chief Andy Hobbs over there, and you have Chief Tommy Leiter. Just a great relationship between the Sheriff's Department and the county. It's great Great to appreciate that. I see Jamie Higdon. Jamie Higdon, wave your hand. He is the honorable mayor of Beulah, maybe the unofficial mayor of Beulah. If you ever hear a mule that's braying in the afternoons, it's probably Clifford over there off of Beulah School Road. You got Tyler there, and Rob Hogan, Director of Facilities, raise your hand. He's the guy that really brought it in for the Landon, and I appreciate him. And I see Adam over there from Parks, and Wesley Hall behind him, and there's some others throughout the crowd. But it's great to be here today. And you know, I feel like, Jeff, we've kind of been on a ribbon cutting tour the past couple years. Amazing. I mean, we did the barefoot drainage project over there off Blue Angel. We did French's Heights. We've done that. We opened up a new library there in Bellevue. That was a big deal. We opened up a new bridge on Longleaf Drive. We're doing a drainage project on Longleaf Drive. But here we are today in Beulah. This is a big deal, a very big deal. This fire station, this firehouse appreciates a very rich history of men who have built, as Jeff said, that firehouse up there. I had the honor and the privilege of knowing many of them, and the Beulah community knew back then that we were going to be well taken care of. It was very well respected. The men and the women that put their heart and soul into that firehouse had a passion for the community, had a love for the community, and you knew that if you called them, they were going to be there. And it was volunteers. They all worked full-time jobs, but they all served the community fantastically well, by the way. So I appreciate that. And I'm here today. I'm happy. I remember when we broke ground, it was raining. Today, it's a beautiful day. It's a little warm, and that's okay. But we're here. It's going to be another great amenity for the Beulah community. And, you know, there's a lot of things we do, as Jeff mentioned, there's a lot of work we do that gets unseen and unheard of, and that's fine. We're not here for that. But I did hear a little story that kind of reminded me of how things feel sometimes when we're trying to drive to work. And there was an old preacher, old country preacher, and he was kind of down and out. If you've ever been in church administration, you'll understand that. You get down and out sometimes, and he was there by the lake and the pond one morning early, him and his dog, and he's sitting there thinking and contemplating, and a duck flew up, and he shot the duck, and the duck landed on the water. And he looked at his dog and said, "Go get him." The dog took off, trotted toward the lake, got to the edge of the water and stopped and turned around. And he looked back at the preacher, almost smiling. Then he trotted across the top of the water, picked up the duck and brought it back and laid it at the feet of the preacher. Well, the preacher was beside himself, grinning from ear to ear. And he's thinking, who can I share this with? He goes, I know who it is, Deacon Brown. He said, Deacon Brown never has a good word to say about anything, but he can't say anything bad about this. So the next morning he brings the deacon out. Same scenario, duck flies up, shoots the duck hits the water, and the preacher smiles and he says, watch this. He says, go get him. And sure enough, the dog trotted to the edge of the water, stopped and turned around and looked back. Then trotted across the water, got the duck, laid it at the feet of the preacher and the deacon. And the preacher said, now, Deacon Brown, what have you got to say about that? And the deacon stood there for a little bit, and he said, well, preacher, I see your dog can't swim. Sometimes that's how it feels. But we're here today. I'm happy to be here today. Thank you for all the hard work, Rob, and facilities, and everybody that had a hand in this. And Jeff, congratulations. A lot of hard work. So, Chief Adam Harrison, come on up. And let me say this about this guy, too. Chief Harrison has stepped into the role. We had an opportunity, and I had dealt with him, and he has a very good reputation throughout the county. And I had been through union negotiations. I saw Nick Grady earlier. There he is back there. Another good fireman right back there leaning on the wall. There's a host of them. But I'd been across the union negotiation table from Adam, and I told Eric, I said, well, I don't want him on my side of the table from now on. So I asked him, we had a good discussion, and Adam decided to step in and fill the role. And Adam, I appreciate you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Minister. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, guys, it's awfully hot out here, so I'm going to try and keep my comments brief. But thank you for joining us today to celebrate the ribbon cutting of the new Beulah Fire Station. It's the state-of-the-art facility is a testament to our community's commitment to safety, resilience, and mutual support. We are proud to announce that this station will be staffed full-time with both career and volunteer members. Their dedication and expertise ensure that we are ready to respond to emergencies around the clock, providing essential services to the community. Additionally, with advanced life support coverage, our team is equipped to offer the highest level of care in critical situations, further enhancing the safety and the well-being of the residents and guests. This project would not be possible without the support of our community and the local option sales tax funding. Your contributions have directly funded the construction of this fire station, showcasing the power of community investment and collective efforts. This station is more than just a building. It's a symbol of our community's strength, unity, and dedication to each other. Together, we are creating a safer, more secure future for the residents and visitors alike. Thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to introduce the Public Safety Director and my direct boss, Eric Gilmore.
Good job. Like Adam said, I'll keep it brief as well. I think a lot's been said, and I want to say thank you to the people who, before me, when I took over as Public Safety Director, this project was already rolling. It was already in the works. So all I had to do was just kind of steer it in the right direction. And then when Rob Hogan come aboard, he took the bull by the horns and ran with it. So the hardest part was finding the funding, right? Trying to get the money. So working with Commissioner Burgash and the county commissioners, I appreciate the support those the people on the dais have given us, public safety as a whole, by putting funds back into public safety, putting the energy and the time. We're getting new apparatus on the road. We're getting new ambulances on the road. We have this brand new fire station, and pretty soon we'll have something out at Paradise Beach that we're proud to be working toward that as well. So I do appreciate the county commissioners, our elected officials, by giving us the support and putting the money in public safety to get things done like this. This is a state-of-the-art building. This is one of the latest and greatest that we have in our as our arsenal as firehouses goes. As you go throughout the day, you'll hear, you've already seen some stories about the smart home. It's like an Alexa smart home. So you think about what this station is and what, Steve, you guys were operating out of for years. How many years did it take for y'all to outgrow that? Not long. So this is something that we can grow into and the community can grow into. And as you know, Beulah is a booming community. Just this year alone, just want to give you a quick stat. Since January 1st through the end of June, this station, Engine 2, has ran over 600 calls. 600 calls. How many times y'all run 600 calls in 6 months, Steve? Prior to you. So it's booming. There's a lot happening in this community. But you look at what Beulah ran out of and what they achieved out of that station. Can you imagine what the future firefighters out of this station will achieve compared to that? So saying that, I see a lot of old volunteers around the room. I see Yancey. I see Bobby. Don't duck there, Bobby. So this is my call to you guys. So, you can put your applications back in. I don't think their certifications have lapsed, have they? If they want to run out of a nice new station and get the feel of a good station and a nice bed if you want to stay overnight. I brought applications with me, so, but this is a career volunteer accommodation station, and it's the first station built in Escambia County I want to tout about that is truly meant for career and volunteer. There's 4 pantries, A, B, C watch, and volunteer. There's bunk rooms for a career and volunteer. So if you live in the Beulah community and you want to look at supporting your community and how can you do that, come join up, volunteer. If you don't have a career, volunteer and see if this might be the career for you, because we do have cadets as well that can transition to a full-time job. So I want to do that plug to see if we can garner some people out here, because who wouldn't want to work out this beautiful facility? I know I would. The last thing I do want to say is the Bradshaw McNair Station, and I couldn't think of 2 better individuals to name the station after, so congratulations on that, and appreciate y'all's dedication and support. Thank you. Up next, I am introducing Sheriff Chip Simmons.
I was going to read your notes. And, something about funding and something about all this stuff. I don't know. I think the original funding was firefighters out there with boots in the intersection and trying to get the coins that they used to get. I was going to talk about the bucolic countryside, but Commissioner Burgash took that from me. You're probably wondering why is Chip Simmons here? Because I can't put out a fire. I can't do anything with fires, even if it's on top of a cake. I can't put those out. But I know a couple things about what makes a community better. And I can tell you, myself and Chief Hobbs were talking earlier that Beulah got better today. Andy lives in Beulah, and he's just super proud of the fact that we have this beautiful place that Beulah can get better today. When I first became assistant county administrator, we did a tour of all of the fire, was it stations or houses? What are they now? Stations. Did you say there's beds back here? Beds. I wasn't gonna, make a firefighter's joke, but you had me at beds and pillows, comforters. I hear there's comforters in here. Jealousy is what this is. This is jealousy. But no, I took a tour of the facility up here, and I thought, this is it? Can we not do better than this? I mean, there's brave men and women that are doing their best, they're risking their life, and they're going to a facility like this that, quite frankly, wasn't up to their standard. But we've changed that. We've changed that because now we have this state-of-the-art facility, and a community, right? We have a public safety community and a network and a brotherhood. But we are the community now at this point, and this is a much better facility than what it was before. My president of our foundation, Whitney Lucas, is here, and we always talk about doing things for the betterment of today, but also something that'll last, something that's going to be good for next year and for our kids and our grandkids, and that's exactly what we got here. So I want to say, take a second to say how much I appreciate Wes and Commissioner Jeff Bergosh and the fire chief and Eric. I want to say thank you guys for what you do. Thank you for having the foresight, and with my good friend Wilson. It may take a couple years, but ultimately you're going to get there. And when you get there, man, you're going to be proud of what you've got. I think it's important to note that my appreciation for firefighters. I was looking at a body camera of an incident the sheriff's office had a couple weeks ago, and during that incident, we had a crash and 2 people were trapped inside a car, and I'm watching the body camera like you would a television show or a ball game, and I'm hoping for what? I'm hoping for the firefighters to get there, because we may be good at a lot of things, but we are not great at extricating people from extricating. Is that right? Extricating? That's the bucolic sign, and we got duck stuff. Of course, we have duck stories in Beulah, from my good friend Wes. But I couldn't wait to see the firefighters get there, because I knew that they were going to take charge and get these people out of this car while we stood around, quite frankly, and wish we had whatever fire stuff that they have. I'm very proud to be part of Escambia County. I'm very proud to have a relationship with the brave men and women of the fire services. I look around also, I know a lot of them that I know. I know a lot of them because we work together, because they're old like I am. But I do appreciate the invite. I thank you so very much for me. Comforters, really? Comforters in this place? I don't, popcorn makers? Okay, you got it all. That is certainly jealousy. And if we get a police station, that's what we need. And not comforters, we don't need comforters, don't get cold enough for that. But thank you so much for what you guys have done. Jeff, you've made this community better. And I'm proud to be a part of it, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Chip. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the best part of it. Chip, that's a great speech. I agree. I don't want to ever go after you. Unfortunately, I have to come up here and introduce people. But in all seriousness, Chip's got a great sense of humor. He's a great sheriff. We're lucky to have him. All the men and women of the fire service, the sheriff's office, we appreciate you. But now the important part of why we're here today. This station was named for 2 men that are very, very, very big parts of this community. And so without further ado, I would like to invite up to the podium Chief Steve McNair. Please come. Please welcome him.
I won't have to correct him. It's been longer than 4 decades.
I said 5.
Or 5 decades. It's been about 6 decades.
Sorry. Sorry, Chief.
Me and Mike Slover, when he was chairman of the association, we started working on it many years ago. And, it's hard to believe that we've got this nice of a station. But I have to say a big thanks to the community. Because if it hadn't been for the community, the businesses in the community, that fire station up there would have never got built. Because we didn't have any insurance, couldn't afford insurance back then. And the people of the community pulled together. And they bought all the material, supplied labor to build that station. And it took a lot of hard work. I know my firemen hated me because I would work them from daylight to dark every Saturday trying to get that station built, but we succeeded. It's an honor to have this station named after me, and it's an honor to have Dwayne on this building also. Dwayne was a special guy. So, guys, it's going to be manning it. I'm proud for y'all being able to have such a nice station to man. And let's just keep the service going in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief McNair, for your years of 6 decades of service. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. And now, Dwayne Bradshaw, as I said earlier, as we all know in this room, gave his life for this community, doing what he loved to do, serve. He served this community, he served the nation and the military. I'm so proud that this station will bear his name, and now I would like to offer the opportunity for Creighton Jordan, my friend. Would you like to come up and say some words on behalf of the family? Please welcome Creighton Jordan.
So thank you very much for everyone coming today. This means a lot to our family. I've talked to the mom and dad earlier again today. I've talked to Christine. She would love to have talked to you today. It's very emotional for our family. To give you a little bit of information about Dwayne, he was a firefighter first. He really loved to come and help people. He served 2 tours of duty as Air Force Reserve. He came back, he worked for Navy Fire. He volunteered his time here at Beulah and at Bellevue both. And anytime he saw somebody, he always wanted to help them. And we just wanted to thank everyone for everything they've done to get this station. When you saw Dwayne, he usually had a textbook in his hand. He had regulations in his hand. He was going out on the evening hours. He was going to different stations. He was volunteering his time to instruct, to lead, and help people. He was very concerned that his family would know, the basic life preventing things to help people with the CPRs. He was up to date on that. He went to the Florida Fire College in Ocala. He was in the community. I see some of the Air Force people here that I've recognized as been part of the family for years. He was just a family person. But the number one thing, if you looked at Dwayne today, you would see a leader. Dwayne was a leader. He put his foot out there first and said, come on, let's go get it. Let's run to that scene. Whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning or it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you would see that truck call. And I can today, as I go down the road to Beulah and I see the Tahoe that he was driving, I remember Dwayne's probably in that cab today. He's running that call. He's saving that life. He's responding to what that little need that you might not know you have until you need it. I work for a very great credit union, Navy Federal Credit Union, down the road. We talked about that many times when Dwayne was like, listen, we've got to get this fire station built. We've got 10,000 people down there that expect, when we pick that 911 call up, that they need somebody. They need somebody to help them get down 3 or 4 flights of stairs or help them to come out of an issue that they didn't know they had. They're looking at it, not just during the business hours, but throughout the whole evening. So Dwayne was very, very concerned about the community and the other restaurants and the other buildings and the new development, the apartment complexes. There's a lot going on out here. So in recap, if you look at Dwayne, you see the leader. You see somebody that stepped forward, that loved his family. He was a caregiver, and he was very much involved in the community. So we thank all of you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this station today. And we thank everyone that came. And tell your friends and family, always remember, slow down, move over. These sheriff's department people, these people on the road, these firemen, they're involved, they're focused on that particular situation at hand, whether it's helping somebody out of a car or dealing with a medical emergency on the road. They don't have time to watch that 65-mile-per-hour logging truck come down the road. They've got to take care of what they were called for. So pass it to your friends. Slow down. Move over. Thank you very much.
And next, I would like to welcome to the podium Dwayne Bradshaw's father, Dwayne Bradshaw Sr. Welcome him.
Thank y'all very much. It's very hard today. But I wanted to let you know that, greater love hath no man than he lay down his life for another. And that's the way that Dwayne felt, and that's the way that I felt, and that's the way that all people, if their heart's in the right place, doing these public service, sheriff department, fire department, whatever it is, then you're doing it for the right reason. To me, the difference between a volunteer and a career firefighter is one that is being helped with their support so that they can do what they love to do. That's all that means and that's the way it meant to me, that whatever I'd done it because of the love of others. And if I lost my life, and Dwayne felt the same way, we've talked about it many a time, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. I would rather lose my life helping somebody else than some stupid something that goes on and lose it. And as far as Jeff and talking about the building being here, no, it's overbuilt. No, it's not overbuilt. That's one of the major problems today with people that make decisions about building things. They live in the past, and they're trying to play catch up, and they're trying to build where it already needs to be built. Well, the wise person is the one that builds it for the future, because look how long it took to build this. If we started today on the next one, it wouldn't be too soon. You always got to look to the future. And I'm very, very happy that each and every one of you are here. And there are so many that took place and helped in building this. And I really appreciate it, and I know the whole community does. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate everyone being here. I'll reiterate that. I appreciate the members of the Bradshaw family for being here. I know this is a bittersweet day, but I appreciate your presence. Christine, would you like to speak, or would you? Okay, I understand. Well, with that, I will just offer my closing remarks, which are, I want to say thank you to every man and woman in this community who serves as a first responder, military, law enforcement. It's a special calling. I've never done it, but I respect those that do, whether you're volunteer or career, on the fire service, whether you're a sheriff's office, highway patrol, or serve in the military, active or reserved. Anyone that puts their life on the line for us deserves our respect. Anyone that is willing to go into dangerous circumstances to save a life. And those who spend their lives in the caretaker role as corrections officers, they often are forgotten. I would be remiss if I did not mention that we lost 2 corrections officers this week in the county. So my thoughts and prayers are with their families today. I'll end by saying again, welcome to the new station. This is your station. Your taxes paid for it. We appreciate your taxes. We appreciate the 1 penny sales tax. It allows us to do these things. I hope that it serves for decades, longer than Steve McNair served. I hope this serves longer than him and serves this community well. And I want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you, and this concludes our ceremony. Thank you.